Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do the overlay mosaic technique used to crochet our winter forest blanket. This is a technique tutorial. We won't be working through the entire blanket. So I have used Red Heart Super Saver in white, as well as the ombre in green apple. I used exactly 3 balls of the green apple and 4 of the white to crochet this blanket, and it measures 48 by 64 inches approximately. So it's a nice, generous throw size blanket. You'll need 2 crochet hook sizes for the pattern, a 5mm and a 6mm, and I'm using gold streamline hooks from Furls Crochet. The blanket includes 4 different charts for you to reference as you work through the pattern. This is the first section of the blanket. So we start out with a straight pattern and then our small trees. So this is chart 1. Now I'm going to work through a smaller swatch with you, and this is what we'll work through just so I can work through the actual overlay mosaic technique with you. So the blanket actually includes 15 little trees that are worked across. So it begins like this. We repeat this section for all of the trees that we want worked across. So we'll begin, and then this is how the tree blanket ends. So working through just 2 trees will explain how to start as well as end the blanket. So for the striped section of the blanket, we will be starting with the smaller hook, which is the 5mm. This section will actually crochet up larger than our mosaic section. So this is why we will start with the small hook, and then we'll transition to the larger hook for the mosaic section. So for the swatch, we'll begin with a chain of 23. If you're working across the entire blanket without making a swatch, you're going to start with a chain of 140. So we'll work single crochets across the chain. I'm going to turn, working in the second chain from the hook, I'm going to go through the back bump of the chain. And if you're struggling to get into the back bump, you can go ahead and also just work through the back loop of the chain, whatever's easier. This just makes a really nice clean edge to work into later. Okay, so I've worked across row 1 with color A, and you can see here we have row 1A. That just means we're going to work back in the same color, and then we'll change to color B. So we'll chain 1 and we'll work single crochets back across the row. So as we come through the last stitch, we can pull up a loop, and we're going to finish the stitch with our color B. So pull through with color B. We'll chain 1, turn, and I'm just going to crochet over the white yarn on the first stitch. You can drop the white off. You can continue working across the tail of B if you want to save a little bit of weaving. Okay, so we'll work across now in color B, and we'll now work to A, working back across, still in color B. chain 1 and turn, and single crochet across. Now as we come to finishing this row, I like to crochet over the white tail again to hide it, carrying the yarn up the sides. So what I do is, instead of just going right through the stitch, I take the white yarn, I drape it over my hook, then I go through the stitch, pulling up a loop. Okay, so now we've tucked that tail in. You can give it a tug and see how it sort of disappears. Then dropping off our green, and you can move it this way so that it doesn't tangle. You can then yarn over with your white, chain 1, and then we'll turn and we'll make sure to crochet over the green, just again on the first stitch, and then dropping it off. And that just helps hide our tails up the side as we go. So we'll work across now. So what we're doing is continuing in this pattern. We want to have now row 3 working across, row 3A coming back. We're going to do color B again, and then we're going to do color A again before, once we get back to B on row 6, we will begin the mosaic pattern. So I'll just go ahead and work up these rows, and then we'll meet up for row 6. Okay, so I've changed color back to the green, which is color B. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And I am going to single crochet in the first stitch. So let's take a look at the chart. So we're now to the mosaic section, which starts at row 6. We're working in color B. We're always going to single crochet in the first and last stitch. It's just going to keep things a little bit cleaner. So I have listed here single crochet. Now all this down here is single crochet too, but remember that you're working a normal single crochet in the first and last of every stitch. Now, all of our other boxes that we see here that do not have an X are going to be single crochet through the back loop only. When we see an X, we're going to do a mosaic double crochet. So MDC, or we're doing single crochet through back loop only. So now for row 6, you can see we are just going to work single crochet through the back loop only, and then we will cut the yarn at the end. For every row of our overlay mosaic pattern, we'll be starting over at the right, working to the left, and cutting yarn. So we're joining back on each time, cutting as we go. We will do a double border at the end to hide the tail, so you don't have to worry about that. Now we could bring the white up for our next. So let me just crochet that single crochet. We're going to go over the white just so we bring it up. Then I'm going to work single crochets. Also, we need to change over to the larger hook. So remember to do that, and then we can single crochet through the back loop of every stitch across. Okay, and the last stitch we'll work a single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to do that to help secure that tail, because we'll just be cutting it, pulling it through, give it a tug. It will just help give that a little bit of a knot, because we won't be weaving any of these. They'll just be covered up. So you want to make sure that it is secure. Now, what I'm going to do is just pull through on the first stitch. But normally we will be joining from here on out, but this one I just want to carry up. We'll chain 1 and single crochet in that first stitch. And let's look at the pattern. So row 7, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mosaic doubles, single crochet in the back loop only. So a mosaic double is working down into that front loop 2 rows below. So we're working a double crochet, so yarn over. We're going through that front loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So we're doing this 5 times in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here is our next stitch, a single crochet through the back loop. Now let's take a look at the chart, okay? Because now this down here, this shaded area is the repeat. So if we look at the repeat, it starts here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the back loop. It ends here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 mosaic doubles. And then it starts again, because when you're working across the entire blanket and how the written pattern is written, the stitch here through here is the repeat. So this is what we're repeating over and over for as many trees as we have on our blanket. So we'll do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we come back and start again. So we have 4 again. Now, if you look at it here, you're going to see that we have 8, but that's not actually how the pattern is written. It goes back and starts again and goes through this section. So we're doing 8, but you have to look at the actual repeat as we go across, okay? So we're going to do another 4. Single crochet in the back loop only. Then we have another 4. And you're going to keep repeating this across the blanket until you get to the end. And then we'll look at what we're ending with. So we've done our 4. So if we come over here, this is where we would be ending. If we look here, you can see this is where we're ending. This is another repeated section. So we would be ending here. So we have 1 more mosaic double and then a single crochet, which is what we have. Then we're going to chain 1. Give this a tug so that's tight. Now we'll be coming back and joining in. So what I like to do when we're joining even as well is you can always put your slip knot, which will knot it slightly, but I'll just chain 1 just to pull that, make it an extra nice knot, and then we can join into the first stitch. Chain 1 and work a single crochet in that first stitch. So that's nice and secure. Then if you look here, we have to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet in the back loop only, and then we have our mosaic double. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The repeat is actually 4, because we start with 1 and then we get into the repeat. And then it's really easy to see that we need to do a mosaic double here because we have that front loop available to work into. So it makes it really easy when you're working across the blanket to see what you're supposed to be doing. Now, if we look again at just our repeat, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet through the back loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the repeat starts again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you should be coming to the spot where you can do another mosaic double. Then you would do 4. And if you have more trees, you're going to just continue going back again and doing another 4, your drop down, etc. But we're now finishing it off. So we've done 4. So if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 1 more and then a single crochet. Single crochet, chain 1, cut that off, and then we come back and join again with color A. So it's really very simple. Just follow along. We have the written pattern as well as the charts included. So if it's easier to follow along with the chart, we have a Google Doc that is going to take you directly to the chart so that you can, the pattern includes the chart, but the Google Doc allows you to go and view it on your screen, view it larger. If you want to screenshot it like this, your different charts and print them out, so it would look like this one, you can just give it a screenshot. You can print it. It can give you larger images. Whatever you find easiest to work with, that's what you can do for the pattern. And once you get going at it, it is very repetitive. You'll find it not a difficult pattern. It's just there's a lot happening. There's different charts to follow. So if you find that complicated, you may want to stick with a more beginner-friendly mosaic pattern. I would say this one is intermediate, so you definitely want to be familiar with mosaic crochet, or you're picking up on this technique really easily. So let's do a chain 1, make that nice and tight, and we're going to come in to this first stitch. And single crochet. You probably don't even need to do the chain 1. You can probably go right in to working a single crochet. You don't even need to do that. So you could do this. Let me show you. So we're going to do this. We're going to just chain, make that tight, and you can just work a single crochet right away. And that works fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is 2 mosaic doubles, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochet in the back loop only. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're ending the repeat here. So that's 1, and then we start again with 1. So we end with 1. We then start our repeat with 1, and then we work 7 again, single crochet in them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to end with 1. And then we're coming to the end. So we'll end with 1 more mosaic double and a single crochet. Chain 1 and fasten off. So I'm going to continue working away on the chart, and once I get my tree done, we're going to come back. I'm going to show you how to work the border. Okay, so next we're going to do the double border. I'm going to trim my tails. So now I'm going to use the larger hook, and I'm doing my border in the green. Now you could do it in the white. It's a little bit more difficult to see this step. So the green definitely helps make this a little bit easier. You can join in any stitch up along the top. And what we're going to do is slip stitch to the corner. Now you want to make sure that you don't do these too tight. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult to work into that back loop right here, which we have to do for one side of the border. At the corner, we're going to chain 2, and then we need to work down along the side. We're going to be doing slip stitches per row. So it kind of helps that we're going every other color. It helps you to see the rows. And the slip stitch is going to make the edge nice and clean. Again, just make sure you're not doing this too tight. So when you get to the next corner, you'll chain 2 and then work across the bottom. So chain 2 at every corner, work all the way around. We're going to end with a seamless join, so I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now when you work all the way around, we're going to fasten this off. And we will finish off with a seamless join. I'm going to skip the first stitch. I'm going to go in the next stitch. And then I'm going to come back and go under the back loop only. And it's going to make a little faux stitch, and it's going to cover the other stitch that was underneath. Can weave this. I sometimes will just not these tails, but you can weave them in. So now we're going to switch to the smaller hook. You're going to change to your wrong side. And we'll be joining in to the back leg of the chain. I'm going to chain 2, and that's going to count as our first half double crochet here and throughout, and then we're going to work a half double crochet through the back leg of each chain. And it shouldn't be too difficult providing you haven't done your slip stitches too tight. And you can see that it's much easier to see working with the green. If we'd worked with the white, it would be a little trickier. So now once you get to the chain 2 of the corner, we're going to do a half double crochet in the chain 2, and a half double crochet in the next chain of the chain 2. So that's how the corners will be worked. And you just want to continue getting into the back legs. When you're going over the green, it can be a little tricky to see them. Just try not to miss any of the legs. So I'm going to continue this around now. Now also as you go, you just want to make sure that you can see some of my tails didn't come out to the outside. So you just want to make sure to pull all the tails so that they'll be inside this border so that we can sandwich them in between, because we're going to be doing the same thing on the other side. But I want to do a total of 3 rounds for the border. But I'm going to work this around and then I'll meet you back up to show you how to finish. Okay, so now what we're going to do is slip stitch in the second chain of the chain 2 to join. We'll chain 2. And I'm going to work through the back loops only. So half double crochet through the back loop only. And you can see how nice already the back looks. So it's going to give it that really nice clean edge. Now in the pattern, you're going to do another round like this, but for this tutorial, I'll just do the 1 round so we can speed up the process a little bit. So I'll meet you at the corner. So now at the corner, one half double crochet in the first chain, chain 2, 1 half double crochet in the next chain, and continue working through the back loops only of every stitch around. So this is going to go much quicker now. That first round is the most painful, going through those back legs of the chain. So once you get through that, it's going to go much quicker and easier. Okay, so I am going to slip stitch in the second chain of the chain 2 to join, and I'm going to fasten off. Okay, and now we're going to come over to the right side. I know it looks really messy to start with, but we're going to do basically the same thing we did to the back side, but we're going through the back loops only on this side. I'm going to pull through, I'm going to chain 2, and then go through the back loop. So half double crochets through the back loop of the stitch. And this will go much easier than the other side. It'll be really easy to work through the back loops. So now when we get to the corner, you're going to see the chain, and we're working in that other loop of the chain, chain 2. Then you just need to find the other loop. And continue working through the back loop. So we're going to do this all the way around. Just find if you fold your work, it's just easier to get at those stitches. Okay, so I've got all the way around. So I'm going to slip stitch in the top of the chain 2 to join. Second chain of the chain 2. I'll chain 2, and we're going to work now half double crochets in the back loop around. So same as the back side. And then once you get all the way around finished with this round, I'll show you how to join up the border. Now with the blanket, you will be doing an additional round. You could even do more if you wanted, but if you are wanting to stay on track with the yarn usage for this pattern, you'll want to just do the 3 rounds. The green is pretty exact amounts in this pattern, so if your gauge is off, you may end up using more yarn. You could always make the border only the 2 rounds if you run out. But you're better off to go a little smaller on the gauge than bigger so that you don't run out of the green yarn, or just grab that you have an extra ball. So at the corner, half, chain 2, half double crochet. So I'm going to continue with this round. Okay, so I finished working around, I slip stitched a join, and then I wove in my tails on both the front and back. Now you want to place your borders together and make sure all of your tails fit inside. So we're going to join into a corner. Chain 1, then we're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the corner. Now what you're going to do is place your border together. You're going through the back loop of this stitch, and when you're looking at it, it's the front loop of the next stitch. And we're going to single crochet. So it's the loops that go together. You're just going through both of them. And you're working that around. So when you get to the next corner, you'll single crochet, chain 2 single crochet, and work that all the way around. And we can finish off just slip stitching to join and fastening off and weave in your tail. So here is the finished border on the blanket. It has a nice, beautiful, clean edge on both sides. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box for the link to the pattern as well as the yarn. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.